Hey, how's it going, fight fans? Welcome to Mind for Combat. If you're new to this channel, my name's Rohan. This is my platform where I do MMA and boxing related content. And if you're new here, I need your help. I'm trying to grow my platform, so why don't you hit the subscribe button for me and like the video or dislike it if you don't like it. Whatever the case, share it out and get involved in the conversation in the comment section below. So for this video, I'm going to be breaking down one of the fights that I'm most excited about for the entire year. Actually, probably it's among the top 2 fights that I've been most excited for this entire year, and I just cannot wait for it to play out. And in my opinion, it's one of the biggest lightweight fights in the history of the lightweight division, and I'm not saying that's hyperbole. I know obviously Khabib and he fought Conor, that was a huge fight, and if Khabib's to win this fight and go on to fight Tony Ferguson, that will in my opinion be the biggest lightweight fight of all time. But this is a huge fight, really exciting fight for me, and I just cannot wait for this fight. Really looking forward to it. Coming into this fight, Khabib obviously comes into this fight on the back of everything that happened with Conor McGregor. He's trying to cement his position by defending his title, and he's trying to reunify the division, because Dustin Poirier, through all his ups, downs, has been a consistent workhorse, has been fighting it through all the losses. He's not let hold himself back, and he's really rebuilt to this point where he can have this humongous fight with Khabib Nurmagomedov, a fight that he's really earned, and it's just going to be such an incredible fight between two of my favourite fighters in the game right now. So let's look into the fight and let's break it down step by step with the tail of the tape. So Khabib Nurmagomedov, he comes to this fight at 30 years of age. He's still a young man in his physical prime, and he's in the prime of really his championship reign. And he fights Dustin Poirier, who likewise is also only 30 years old and is also in the prime of his championship career. Khabib Nurmagomedov has an incredible mixed martial arts record, undefeated record at 27-0, and that's really more so like a professional boxing record. You wouldn't really see 27-0 fighters in the world of MMA. Actually, I think he's the only one. I don't even know if anyone on the regional circuit has ever had a record like Khabib Nurmagomedov, and that really shows his dominance in this sport. And he's been doing it against high-level opposition, so Khabib Nurmagomedov is absolutely incredible. And he fights Dustin Poirier, who has a very good, respectable mixed martial arts record of himself, which is 25 wins with 5 losses and 1 no contest. Now, Khabib Nurmagomedov, when we're looking at the records, one of the things that I like to think about is how many fights have they had, and in comparison to each other, who's had the most high-level fights. Now, Khabib Nurmagomedov, yes, he's had that humongous fight with Conor McGregor. He's had fights, for a world title with Al Iaquinta. He's been their main event. He's got a huge crowd behind him. But Dustin Poirier is not someone who's unfamiliar with high amounts of attention and spotlight. He's been in the UFC for a long time, and he's been main eventing for a long time, going all the way back to 2013 when he main evented against the Korean Zombie at featherweight. And then he's fought on main card since then. He's come up to lightweight. He's fought a main event since then with Max Holloway. His last fight being a 5-round main event against a world champion. He's been the underdog coming into main events before, so he's used to the spotlight and he's used to the pressure. And really, the colliding at a brilliant time is going to be a great, excellent fight. I just cannot wait for it. Khabib Nurmagomedov stands at 5'10", which is only an inch taller than Dustin Poirier, who's 5'9", and Khabib Nurmagomedov has a 70-inch reach, as opposed to Dustin Poirier, who has a 72-inch reach. So he's got a nice 2-inch advantage over him. That's, I think, something to consider there, because I believe Dustin Poirier is the better, cleaner striker, but Khabib's not really going to be looking to get into a boxing match with Dustin, so it should be interesting to see how this fight plays out. Khabib Nurmagomedov's style, well, I think we all know what his style is. There's no secret there. He's going to be looking to implement his wrestling game. He's going to want to take Dustin Poirier down, take him down and Hulk smash him, pulverize him into the ground. And for Dustin Poirier, his style, well, he's a well-rounded mixed martial artist. And really, I think he's going to want to utilize his boxing. I believe if he enjoys one advantage coming into this fight, it's going to be his skill set in his boxing. He's obviously well-rounded. I believe he's got great wrestling in his own right, but not wrestling that you would compare to Khabib Nurmagomedov. So that's something that we've got to really consider. Let's look at some of the key wins coming into this fight. So for Khabib Nurmagomedov, his list of key wins is pretty spectacular. We're talking Rafael dos Anjos right before he went on to win a world title. So this is the peak Rafael dos Anjos right here. He's beaten Edson Barboza when Edson Barboza was on a 3-fight win streak after he had been knocking everyone out. So that's another really good win there. He's beaten Michael Johnson after Michael Johnson flatlined Dustin Poirier in a round. So that's something to really consider coming into this fight. He's also beaten the likes of Al Iaquinta, who's a top lightweight who I respect a lot, and he's beaten Conor McGregor himself, the notorious man himself, who's also a guy who's KO'd Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier has also got a really incredible list of wins that are highlighted by his 2 wins over Max Holloway, particularly his most recent performance, which I felt like was his best career performance against Max Holloway. And he's also got wins over Eddie Alvarez, which is a great win, a former UFC world champion, former Bellator world champion. And it's also taken out Justin Gaethje in one of my favourite fights of all time, if I'm honest. That's such an incredible fight. Coming into this fight, if we're thinking about issues, for Khabib Nurmagomedov, you're going to have to think about in the stand-up area, can he be exposed? We've seen him get tagged by Michael Johnson. I believe Conor McGregor had a tiny bit of success in that third round against Khabib Nurmagomedov. Dustin Poirier hits very hard, so if he give him the opening, he will hurt you. And for Dustin Poirier, I believe some of his issues are going to be that he is hittable, he is there to be hit. Actually, another issue for Khabib Nurmagomedov that I suppose you can outline is, in both his fight with Conor and his fight with Al Iaquinta, whilst he is regarded for his conditioning, he was unable to secure takedowns in round 3. Now, so you may say that that was the case because he didn't pursue the takedown actively as hard as he did, and that may be some truth, but there may also be some speculation that he may have tired out a bit in them third rounds, and if that's the case, that could be a problem coming into the fight with Dustin Poirier, a supremely conditioned athlete who I've never seen get tired. Will there be some opportunities that open up for Dustin Poirier as the fight goes on? I believe so. Now let's get into the fight and I'll give you my prediction. So I believe coming into this fight, there's really two key things, and this is like an old school throwback to mixed martial arts, and it's really the case with any Khabib Nurmagomedov fight at this point. Is Khabib going to be able to take the opponent down and wrestle him, ground and pound him and do what he can do? Is Dustin Poirier going to be able to keep the fight standing and be able to utilize what I believe is his superior skill set in his boxing? It's really, really hard. Dustin Poirier also hits very hard, so if he gets opportunities, he will make them count. I believe what's going to come out is we're going to see them come out and Khabib straight away is going to shoot with a shot. Dustin Poirier will be able to defend some takedowns, he'll be able to get taken down sometimes. That's going to be the problem. Particularly early in the fight, I think Khabib Nurmagomedov is going to be able to come out there and get the takedowns. Dustin Poirier is a warrior. He's someone who's very durable. He's not going to get knocked out. Yes, he got flush KO'd by Michael Johnson and he got KO'd and defeated by Conor McGregor. I don't believe that to be the case against Khabib Nurmagomedov. That's not a threat that he faces against Khabib Nurmagomedov. Khabib Nurmagomedov is not a one-punch KO puncher. So that means he comes into this fight without that threat. The threat is solely on the ground and getting ground and pounded. Now, what happens on the ground, I wonder. Will Dustin Poirier be able to navigate that? Because Dustin Poirier is no slouch on the ground. He's also a wrestler. He's a decorated wrestler from an amateur scene, and he's also got good BJJ. We've seen him grappling in UFC, and he's done pretty damn well. I believe Khabib Nurmagomedov is going to be able to get early takedowns, but I believe in rounds 3 and 4, that's when the fight starts to become questionable. A durable, tough guy, a mentally tough guy like Dustin Poirier, who doesn't break. We've seen him against Justin Gaethje. We've seen him against Max Holloway when he's been in them tough spots. If you don't KO him flat, he's not going to quit. He's not a quitter. He's going to fight. He's a warrior. At that point then, with him having better stand-up than Khabib Nurmagomedov, if he does slow down, I'm not saying he for sure does, I'm saying I felt like he has slowed down, and the fact that Conor was able to keep the fight standing and win that round, in my opinion, it does invoke some question for me. Does Dustin Poirier then start to land damage? He could land damage. And if he has an opportunity to win the fight, it will be in round 3, 4 and 5. Round 1 and 2, I believe, will definitely be Khabib Nurmagomedov's. With that said, Conor McGregor was a very emotionally charged fight. So that could have impacted what happened in the third round. Al Iaquinta, he got shifted around so much mentally, surely that impacted him. Prior to that, his cardio had been supreme. I had never seen him wilt even a little bit. So I have to think that Khabib Nurmagomedov is not going to slow down in round 3, 4 and 5 coming into this fight. If there is to be an opportunity for Dustin Poirier, that is going to be it. But what I'm trying to say is, aside from that being the case, Khabib Nurmagomedov should be able to win this fight. I believe Khabib Nurmagomedov is going to implement his wrestling game early. He's going to be able to pound Dustin Poirier on the floor, do his thing, smash him, and then he's going to be able to inflict some damage as the fight goes on. Whilst Dustin Poirier is a tough, durable guy, I believe Khabib Nurmagomedov is going to get a nice, comfortable lead on the scorecards, and we're going to see a clean-cut 50-45 unanimous decision for Khabib Nurmagomedov. So for my official prediction, I'm going to say Khabib Nurmagomedov is going to win a unanimous decision over 5 rounds by dominating Dustin Poirier in the early rounds, and then it getting more competitive as the fight goes on, but still Khabib Nurmagomedov getting the win. So fight fans, Khabib Nurmagomedov for the win. How do you guys have it? What do you guys think of my prediction and my breakdown? And what's your prediction for the fight? How do you guys see this fight going? Comment below. Like I said, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, help me to grow my platform, share out the video, all that jazz. Thank you for watching, guys. I'm Rohan, Man for Combat.